Have you ever realized that, like, comparing your chapter 1 to someone else's chapter 10 is basically the absolute fastest way to kill your own progress?
Oh, totally. It's so discouraging.
Right. It is just such a common trap, especially for, adult women who are trying to juggle family, careers, and personal growth all at the same time.
Hmm.
But today, we are looking at this brilliant statement from an adult learner who simply decided to, well, stop doing it.
Exactly. Just opting out of the comparison game entirely.
Yeah. So, welcome to our morning deep dive. Grab your favorite mug, pour yourself a hot cup of coffee, and just, settle in with us. I am Teacher Paulo, and I am so incredibly thrilled to be here with you today.
Good morning, everyone. And I am Teacher Reichel. It is honestly such a joy to share this morning coffee chat with you. We really see how much dedication it takes to, choose to learn English from home.
It's a huge commitment.
It really is. Claiming this time for yourself is this powerful act of self-care. And so today is Thursday, April 16th, 2026, and we are diving deep into the English Conversations course. Specifically, we're looking at the outstanding work from Group T262.
Yes, Group T262.
They are currently just rocking the A2 level on the CEFRL scale.
They really are. And we are coming to you straight from Academia BSB. Our entire mission here is to empower adult women, just like you, to learn English through our bespoke distance learning methodology.
Right, from the comfort of your own home.
Exactly. And everything we're exploring today comes right out of our original platform materials, specifically the April 1st class notes. The title of these notes was actually written by one of our very own students, Sandra Teixeira.
Such a great title, too.
It's a powerhouse of a sentence. It's simply, I don't compare myself to anyone.
I mean, wow. It is the perfect mindset for language learning.
Yeah.
When you let go of those comparisons, you just free up so much mental space to actually absorb the language.
That's true.
And today, we are going to use that space to paint some vivid pictures in English, figure out the hidden logic behind some of those really tricky past tense verbs, and analyze a fascinating debate about workplace rights.
I am so ready for this. When we talk about not comparing ourselves, it makes me think about how we describe the people around us, right?
Oh, definitely.
To really capture the world, we need this rich palette of descriptive words. And looking at the vocabulary from the current class, I realized something kind of funny.
What's that?
Well, this entire list is basically a survival guide for describing a classic Brazilian Sunday family barbecue.
Oh my gosh, I love that. A Sunday barbecue is the ultimate test of descriptive vocabulary. There are so many personalities. How does this class list actually fit into that?
Okay, so picture this. It is a long weekend, right? So everyone is on their vacations. You walk into the backyard, and it is absolutely crowded, just completely packed with people.
So many people. You can barely move.
Exactly. And because it's so full of people, you literally have to shout just to say hello over the music. And immediately you spot that one grown-up, the adult who refuses to act their age.
Oh, there's always one.
Right. And they are trying to be super bendy and flexible, doing some kind of weird yoga stretch near the grill.
I know exactly who you're talking about. And then you have the completely opposite personalities, right? You have the adventurous aunt.
Yes, the one who's always traveling.
Exactly. The one trying new things. And she's sitting next to the incredibly organized and intelligent uncle who probably brought a spreadsheet for the grocery expenses.
Oh, without a doubt. He definitely has a spreadsheet. And do not forget the kids. They are usually feeling really brave and courageous, just running around the pool, creating total chaos.
Total chaos. And then, of course, you have the cousin who thinks he is a visionary, right? He's always pitching some new brilliant business idea to anyone who will listen.
Meanwhile, the actual expert of the family is quietly just standing there, making sure the meat does not burn.
It is such a beautiful, chaotic mix. And when you look around at the family, you see everybody type, right? Some people are tall, some are fat, some are slim. Everyone is just enjoying the food and being friendly and lovely to each other.
It's the best vibe.
But wait, I have to stop you there because there is one word on our class list that is a massive trap for Brazilian learners at this exact barbecue. The word sympathetic.
Ah, yes. The ultimate false friend. Because it looks exactly like simpatico, right?
Exactly. So let's say you see a new boyfriend at the barbecue, and he is sitting in the corner because he is scared, shy, or timid.
Meaning he's easily frightened or just nervous around all these loud, crazy people.
Right. So you might want to go over and be nice to him. In Portuguese, you'd say you are being simpatico. But in English, if you say you are sympathetic, it does not mean friendly or nice.
Wait, really? What does it mean then?
It means you are showing compassion or pity for his suffering. Like you feel sorry for him.
Oh, wow. That is such a crucial distinction. So friendly is for the lovely aunt greeting everyone at the door, but sympathetic is for when you are, like, comforting someone who is having a genuinely hard time.
Precisely. This is why context is absolutely everything.
Okay, so hopefully you have a bit less confusion now when describing your family. But, having the words is only half the battle. How do we actually pronounce them without completely freezing up?
Yeah, pronunciation can feel super intimidating because English is just full of historical ghosts.
Historical ghosts.
Yeah, like letters that we do not pronounce anymore, or sounds that completely change depending on the word right next to them.
Oh, like the word island from our past class. I remember struggling with this one so much. I always want to say island, but the es is completely silent. It is just island. Why is that?
It is actually a fascinating historical mix-up. Basically, hundreds of years ago, English scholars wanted the word to look more like the Latin and French word isle. So they just shoved in es into the spelling of the Old English word island.
So they just changed the spelling to be fancy?
Pretty much. The pronunciation never actually changed, but the spelling did. So we are left with this ghost s. And you have to be really careful not to confuse it with Iceland, the country, which absolutely has a hard es sound.
That honestly makes me feel so much better. It is not that I'm pronouncing it wrong intuitively. It is that the language itself is playing a trick on me. What about the word humid? I hear a lot of students drop the H or confuse it with human.
Okay, so for humid, you really want to breathe out that A, like a gentle sigh, high humid. It refers to moisture in the air, right?
Like when it's about to rain.
Exactly. But human, referring to a person, has a very different ending. You have to finish that and sound clearly. Human.
Okay, let me try a few more words and sentences to really hear the rhythm. She learned to ride a horse. Not a house, but a horse with that deep or sound.
Perfect.
Call me before you leave. This book fits into a different category.
Your pronunciation is spot on. Now, what about the most notorious trio in the entire English language? Where, were, and where.
Oh, man. This trips up everyone. I always have to stop and think about it. Where are you going? Asking for a location.
Right. And where sounds exactly the same as wear, as in wearing a jacket. They are literally identical twins in sound.
But were, the past tense of are, is entirely different.
Entirely. It rhymes with fur or her. It is a much shorter, tighter sound in the mouth, like, we were so happy to see you.
Where were you? Wow, yeah, feeling the difference in the mouth really helps. And once you nail those tricky sounds, the final layer to sounding truly natural is mastering phrasal verbs.
Oh, those idiomatic expressions that native speakers just use constantly.
Exactly. Today's class notes highlight 3 specific ones: to make up, to turn down, and to make over.
So instead of just defining them like a textbook, let's look at how they naturally happen in a normal conversation. Let's say we are planning our weekend.
Okay, let's do it. I was looking at my living room this morning, and it feels so outdated. I really want to make over the entire space. New paint, new furniture, completely redo it. Oh, I love a good design project. I would be thrilled to help you make over the living room. But wait, what about the big neighborhood dinner party this Saturday?
Ugh, I totally forgot about that. Honestly, I am so exhausted from work, I think I am going to have to turn down the invitation. I just cannot go.
Turn down the invitation. But you already promised the hosts you would bring dessert. If you refuse now, what on earth are you going to tell them?
I don't know. I will just make up an excuse. I will invent a crazy story about my oven being broken.
And there we go. You completely renovate or make over a room, you refuse or turn down an invitation, and you invent or make up an excuse.
It feels so much more manageable when you actually see them in action, right?
Yeah.
And by the way, if you at home want to know exactly how well you are absorbing all of this, the Academia BSB digital platform is literally doing the math for you.
It really is. It
Yeah.
tracks everything.
Just from this single class session, the platform tracked that group T262 engaged with 26 distinct vocabulary words and logged 57 minutes of oral fluency. That dashboard is such a powerful tool because it gives you tangible proof of your progress. Every single minute you spend repeating those idioms or, practicing that silences in island is counted and celebrated.
Speaking of things we can track and compare, I have to share a disaster that happened to me
Yeah.
recently.
Oh no, what did you do?
Well, earlier we talked about the danger of comparing ourselves to others, right? Well, I decided to make a traditional moqueca. I thought, hey, I have watched the videos, I know the ingredients, I can totally pull this off.
Okay, I see where this is going.
But then I made the absolute fatal error of tasting mine and immediately comparing it to my grandmother's moqueca.
Oh no, you never compare your cooking to a Brazilian grandmother's cooking. That is a battle you will always lose. Always.
I lost terribly. I mean, it was a disaster. My broth was thin, the fish was overcooked, my moqueca was undeniably worse than hers.
A classic tragedy.
But my culinary failure is actually the perfect bridge into our grammar focus for today. The simple past and the art of making comparatives and superlatives, which are all covered in Units 76, 77, and 79.
Okay, let's just do a super quick recap to reset before we dive into the grammar. We've survived the crowded barbecue vocabulary, figured out the ghost letters in our pronunciation, and learned how to make over a room or turn down an invitation.
A very productive morning so far.
Right. So let's start with the simple past, because recounting your cooking disaster definitely requires it. In English, the past tense can feel incredibly frustrating because we have regular verbs and irregular verbs.
So frustrating. Students always ask, why do the irregular verbs even exist? Why can't everything just end in ed?
Seriously, why? It feels like a prank. Why do we say wanted, but we don't say good?
It is all about the history of the language. English is basically a Germanic language that got heavily influenced by French. The oldest, most deeply rooted everyday words in English, like eat, sleep, see, go, are ancient strong verbs.
Okay, so they've just been around forever.
Exactly. And instead of adding a suffix to show the past, ancient speakers changed the vowel sound inside the word itself. So sing became sang, write became wrote, see became saw.
Oh, so they aren't just random rules designed to torture us. They are ancient patterns.
Exactly. If you group them by sound, it actually makes a lot of sense. Think of the pattern. Draw becomes drew, and fly becomes flew.
Oh, I see it.
Or the ones that just change the vowel. Swim becomes swam, read becomes read, pronounced like the color red, and hear becomes heard. You also have changing to had, go to went, and sleep to slept.
Grouping them by sound is definitely the secret to mastering them. Now, the newer verbs that entered the language later, or the ones that were just less common, got the standardized modern treatment. We just add ed. These are our regular verbs.
So things like wanted, listened, watched, cooked, painted, cleaned, they all just gently step into the past with that ed. Walked, jumped, tried, smelled, looked.
And forming sentences with them is beautifully logical. For an affirmative sentence, you just use the past verb. I cooked the moqueca.
Even if it was a bad moqueca.
Right. But for a negative, English uses a helper. We bring in did not or didn't, because didn't is already in the past. The main verb relaxes and goes back to its normal state. I didn't cook the moqueca.
Oh, I love that. The helper does all the heavy lifting. And for a question, the helper just jumps to the front. Did you cook the moqueca? It is a remarkably clean system once you see the machinery behind it.
It really is.
But let's get back to how my moqueca was worse than my grandmother's. Let's talk about comparatives and superlatives.
When we compare two things, we modify the adjective. But the rule changes depending on the size of the word.
I love to visualize this like organizing a closet. It makes it so much easier to remember. Think of your short one-syllable adjectives, words like fast, tall, or big, as your small items of clothing, like t-shirts.
Okay, t-shirts, I'm with you.
They are lightweight and easy to manage. You can just tuck a tiny suffix onto the end of them. So fast easily gets a little brrr tacked on to become faster. Big becomes bigger.
That makes perfect sense. They're small enough to carry the extra letters. But what about the long adjectives? Words with 3 or more syllables like beautiful, expensive, or intelligent.
Those are your big, heavy winter coats. You cannot just tuck an er onto the end of beautiful. It becomes beautiful-er, which is just too bulky and awkward to say. Heavy coats need a completely separate hanger in the closet.
A separate hanger.
Yes. And in English, that separate hanger is the word more. So we say more beautiful, more expensive.
And if you were trying to find the absolute extreme, the superlative, when you're comparing more than two things, the same closet rule applies, right?
Exactly.
The small t-shirts get the est suffix, like the fastest or the biggest. The heavy winter coats get the separate hanger, the most beautiful.
There is one major trap here for Brazilian learners, though. In Portuguese, you naturally say me grande. So the instinct is to translate that directly to more big.
Oh, I hear that all the time.
Right. But remember the closet. Big is a short t-shirt word. It doesn't need the separate hanger. It just takes the suffix, bigger.
Yes. Never say more big. And we also have to mention the absolute rule breakers. Good and bad. They refuse to stay in the closet at all.
They just do their own thing.
Exactly. Good completely transforms into better for a comparative and the best for a superlative, and bad transforms into worse and the worst.
Which brings us right back to my moqueca, which was definitely worse. But, it is not just about inequality. We can also express equality using the word as, like, my kitchen is as big as your kitchen.
Or we can express a lesser degree. Today is less humid than yesterday.
This grammar is so powerful because it actually allows us to evaluate the world around us. And that leads us directly into our reading practice from the class notes titled, The Revolutionary Sandra and Her Coworkers at the Hospital Strike.
This is a phenomenal text. Sandra and Cindy are healthcare workers at a hospital, and they are currently on strike. They are comparing their current working conditions to what they actually deserve.
It's intense.
It is. Let's really look at the core of this text. To understand the depth of their situation, we are going to debate this text from two completely opposing viewpoints.
And just to be incredibly clear with everyone listening, we are strictly doing a critical thinking exercise here.
Absolutely.
We are entirely impartial as teachers and are not taking a real-world political stance on this. We are simply exploring the opposing ideas presented in the text to practice English argumentation. I will advocate for the workers, and you take the opposing side.
Understood. Go ahead and lay out the workers' case.
Based on the text, Sandra and Cindy are entirely justified in their strike. The text explicitly states they are fighting for a bigger salary and the return of vacation time that was unfairly removed from their professional category.
That's a fair point.
Healthcare workers are the absolute backbone of our society. You cannot expect nurses and hospital staff to provide excellent care if they are exhausted, undervalued, and stripped of basic rights. Striking is their leverage. They are demanding that their compensation be better than it currently is, which is a fundamental right.
It is a strong argument. But let's look at the tension Cindy brings up in the text itself. Cindy says, our jobs are very important. Patients need us every day.
True, she does say that.
This isn't a factory assembly line. It is a hospital. It is a first necessity job dealing with fragile human lives. If the staff completely stops working, the patients suffer the immediate consequences.
Right.
Even if they deserve a bigger salary, prioritizing a labor protest over urgent patient care is incredibly dangerous. There has to be a way to negotiate without abandoning the bedside.
But the text also notes a compromise. It says, some people are still working inside the hospital to handle emergencies while others protest outside. They aren't abandoning the patients entirely. They're creating enough disruption to force management to listen.
I see what you mean.
If they never push back, their conditions will only get worse, which ultimately degrades patient care anyway.
It is such a heavy, fascinating ethical dilemma. And exploring that tension using comparative words like bigger, better, and worse is exactly how you elevate your English from just, making basic sentences to actually expressing complex opinions.
And speaking of expressing complex opinions about seeking a better life, that connects perfectly to our rating segment. We are looking at a brilliant first draft written by the author of our class notes title, Sandra Teixeira.
Sandra's work is always so good.
It really is. The assignment was to use comparatives to contrast her past life in the city of Unai with her present life in Brasilia. Let's look at what Sandra wrote in her first draft. I was happy in Unai, but I am happier living in Brasilia. Today I am richer than in the past. I won't be as beautiful as today because I will be older.
This is a phenomenally solid first draft. I was just blown away by her grasp of the grammar. Sandra applied the rules flawlessly.
You really did.
She took the short adjective happy, dropped the Y, and added air to make happier. She added air to rich to make richer. She even used the equality structure perfectly with as beautiful as. This is textbook A2 level English mastery.
So as her teachers, how do we help her take this perfectly correct draft and turn it into something spectacular? How do we push it to the next level?
Well, we do it by adding the connective tissue adverbs and transitional phrases that make it flow like a cohesive story rather than individual sentences. Here's the feedback and a proposed second draft, basically a final version, for Sandra.
Let's hear it.
While I was genuinely happy during my time in Unai, I find myself even happier living in Brasilia today. Furthermore, looking back over the years, I am undeniably richer now than I was in the past. However, time changes us all. I know I won't be as youthful and beautiful forever because I will gracefully grow older.
Wow. Adding words like genuinely, undeniably, and gracefully completely changes the emotional resonance of the text. Sandra, this is stellar work.
Truly beautiful.
In fact, we want to formally ask for your consent to publish this beautifully polished final version on our school's blog. at students.AcademiaBSB.com.br blog. Everyone needs to read this.
We would be absolutely honored to feature it. And for putting in the effort to master these comparatives, Sandra, we are awarding you Maximum Estrelinhas, our reward stars, which actually brings us to the most high-energy part of our morning.
That's right. It is time for the gamification podium. Let's check the stats, hit the track, and see who is sprinting ahead with their goals this week.
Coming in hot on the leaderboard, let's hear a massive cheer for Alan.
Let's go, Alan.
Alan has maintained an incredibly active streak. Now, he did take a tiny stumble and lost a couple of points on a recent quiz grade.
Yeah.
But hey, Alan, champions face setbacks.
You brush the dirt off and get right back in the race.
Exactly. Because of his amazing resilience, he is holding strong with a total of 60 stars. Keep that momentum going.
Incredible hustle, Alan. Next up on the podium, we have to celebrate our writing superstar of the day, Sandra. With her fantastic draft and consistent platform work, she has soared to a brilliant 106 stars. You are absolutely glowing on that leaderboard, Sandra.
And we absolutely cannot forget the content creators keeping our community inspired. A huge shout out to teacher Marcelo, who just snagged another 5 stars for his stellar content creation, bringing his grand total to an unbeatable 142 stars.
The energy on this podium is electric. Keep logging in, keep completing those activities, and claim your rewards.
What a fantastic week of growth. As we bring today's deep dive to a close, I want to circle all the way back to the title of Sandra's class notes. I don't compare myself to anyone.
It is such a profound anchor for us. We spent this entire morning analyzing the grammar of comparisons, how to say things are bigger, faster, more beautiful, better, or worse. We learned the actual mechanics of measuring one thing against another.
But the supreme irony is that the one place you must never apply these rules is to your own personal learning journey.
Exactly. When you look at another student and think, her vocabulary is bigger than mine, or he speaks faster than I do, you are using your mental energy to build walls instead of bridges.
That's so true.
Comparing your chapter 1 to someone else's chapter 10 does absolutely nothing but slow down your own fluency. Your journey is uniquely yours.
This idea of claiming your own distinct path actually reminds me of the brilliant author Virginia Woolf. In her groundbreaking 1929 essay, A Room of One's Own, she explored how women historically were denied the financial independence and the literal physical space, like a quiet room with a lock on the door to think, to write, and to grow.
Wow, that is a powerful image.
She powerfully argued that having that dedicated, uninterrupted space is the absolute fundamental requirement for intellectual freedom and creation.
I love that connection so much because when you log onto our platform, when you put your headphones on in the morning and listen to this deep dive, you are actively claiming your own virtual room. You are carving out dedicated space for your own mind to expand. Do not clutter that precious, hard-won space with comparisons to others. Fill it entirely with your own progress, your own voice, and your own victories.
Beautifully said. Claim your space, women. Celebrate your journey and keep showing up for yourselves every single day.
Thank you so much for sharing your morning coffee and your time with us today. Remember the ultimate motto of our school and carry it with you throughout your week. It's not only about the language.
It's all about communication.
See you next time.